Every year, thousands of traditional churches close their doors for good. We are witnessing a historic collapse in institutional attendance as people turn away from this rigid architecture of the past. Data suggests this isn't a loss of faith. People are still searching for God and spiritual meaning. They are simply rejecting a broken interface that no longer facilitates that connection. There are 5 specific failures driving this exodus: sermons that feel disconnected from reality, a lack of deep relationships, the suppression of honest doubt, a culture of fear, and constant financial pressure. To protect their inner peace, many have retreated into a single-player mode of spirituality. But while this isolation offers temporary safety, it leaves the individual vulnerable to much larger forces. Today's spiritual challenges are no longer just personal. We live inside massive systemic structures, like algorithms that profit from our anger and economic systems that rely on inequality. An isolated individual is mathematically outmatched by these systems. In gaming terms, a solo player will always be crushed by a structural boss. Surviving these forces requires a raid party. We must link our individual spiritual energies together to face these systemic challenges as a coordinated unit. This doesn't require a new religion. It requires a system reset, returning to the original horizontal architecture of spiritual community. The word ecclesia originally described a horizontal democratic gathering of equals. It functioned as a living organism, a peer-to-peer network that prioritized participation over institutional hierarchy. This ancient blueprint aligns perfectly with the PERMA model, the cutting edge of modern psychology that defines how human beings actually flourish. The ecclesia framework builds 5 specific psychological pillars: deep joy, intense engagement, authentic relationships, a sense of meaning, and the shared achievement of overcoming obstacles. This alignment replaces old drivers of fear and guilt, powering the community through the collective pursuit of spiritual growth. When a community functions this way, it stops being a container for compliance and becomes a scientifically sound engine for thriving. We can understand the energy of this community through the physics of nuclear fusion. While fission releases energy by splitting things apart, like communities breaking under conflict, fusion creates far greater energy by bringing equal elements together in a lasting bond. This fusion is triggered by testimony-centered worship. Members share the raw stories of their weekly struggles, turning their personal victories and failures into the community's shared fuel. In this environment, the pastor facilitates the journey, helping the community interpret their real-world experiences through the lens of their shared values. Sharing these vulnerabilities creates a resonant bond between members. This collective energy transforms a group of individuals into a coordinated unit, capable of identifying and resisting the structural injustices that rely on our isolation. Just as the early church utilized the Roman Empire's military roads to spread their message, the modern ecclesia must navigate our current infrastructure, the digital network. The digital landscape is built on algorithms that prioritize division and outrage. This is the primary battlefield where our attention and values are constantly under attack. We respond with metanoia, a form of spiritual hacking. It is a community-driven effort to deliberately break toxic digital feedback loops. A spiritual hack is simple but effective, taking a 10-second pause before reacting online and choosing to inject authentic human vulnerability into a hostile filter bubble. This transforms every screen and social feed into a front line for the ecclesia, using digital tools to spread connection instead of division. The Millennium Church is a decentralized network, flowing across digital borders, just like water, to reach a modern, hyper-connected world. Because this community operates on attraction rather than coercion, it draws people in through the visible evidence of its joy and authentic connection. Centuries ago, outsiders looked at the early ecclesia and marveled, "Look how they love one another." Returning to this standard of radical connection allows the global raid party to finally move past the systemic evils of the 21st century.